purchases and stuff if you want to be that kind of person that, you know,
Just
spends
buys it
more
all.
money on things. But they've stressed that you don't need to do that to experience everything that this game has to offer. It's if you're the kind of loser that wants to like max out your character and buy, you know, $40 worth of ultimate gauntlets and, you know, shit like that. But,
they kind of had some of that stuff towards the end of their last game, but I think they had more of that in Mortal Kombat 10, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but
that sounds cool.
It's pretty interesting. But yeah, because it's
cool.
yeah, I wanted to play that thing that has to do with the movie. That's
Oh,
what we're
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Tomorrow night we're going. We got tickets to Wonder Woman, so we're gonna see that tomorrow.
Woman. I heard really positive things about Wonder Woman. Everybody's
Dude,
liking it. Yeah.
Right now, it is the highest ranked superhero movie in history on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh. It's so weird about
That's
Rotten
pretty
Tomatoes
fucking
thing.
impressive. Well, yeah, fuck that. It's a stupid system anyways, because they just take, you know, aggregates of everybody's reviews. But yeah, no, so far I've not seen any negative reviews. They said it finally, you know, it's like an overwhelming. Everybody's it's like fucking finally give DC one good review. Goddamn it, you know, it's like for God's sake.
And it's also the fact that, you know, like the fact that it's a female-driven character that's been meaning to be on big screen for a long time. So.
Oh god. Shit. She's been around just as long as Superman. And hey, you know, man, have we beaten Marvel in that regard. You know, it's
Seriously.
like we actually have the balls to take a strong female character and make a movie. You know, hell, how long has Black Widow been around? If she hasn't gotten a fucking movie.
She never even got one and probably never will.
You can count Suicide Squad as another one. Harley Quinn, she was pretty much the main character in that movie. You know, it's like, shit, we got 2 down. You know?
That's true. That's true.
Like, man.
Very,
women,
very
man, I tell
point.
you. All right.
Women, man. Women, man.
Women. All right, I got it pulled up.
All right. Cool. Just let me know if that sounds good and we'll jump on into it.
Sure does.
All right, we good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, so welcome back, folks, to our second part of the Games and Gimmicks dual podcast here of both YouTube and on Podomatic, and well, really triple. It's like iTunes too. It's gonna be on everywhere, folks.
We're everywhere.
We're back with basically the review of our second game for May's PlayStation Plus. And that's Tales from the Borderlands.
Tales from the Borderlands.
I'm going to get it started here, Eric, and then I kind of want to just get an idea as to where you're at with this. I mean, obviously, we've talked a lot about Telltale games in the past, and we've played a bunch of them. So, first of all, how much of this game have you played?
0%.
Really?
I know. It's another month where I'm bad, and I'll tell you exactly why. I'll relay exactly why. Abzu is part of the reason I was spending time with that. The first game we talked about. Secondly, the only reason I didn't have the enthusiasm to play this right away is because it's a Telltale game. I've played so many Telltale games, so I didn't really feel like playing a Telltale game because I knew what I was going to get.
Right.
The only thing I knew I wouldn't get, obviously, is the story. I don't know anything about Borderlands. I never played Borderlands, so maybe that was another reason I wasn't enthused either, because I knew nothing about Borderlands. But I mean, I've played the Walking Dead ones, the Batman one, Back to the Future. I've done the Telltale thing, so I just wasn't. And so I'm gonna, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna kind of watch and observe as you're giving your thoughts on it, and I want to see how much it compares and contrasts to past Telltale games. And yeah.
Okay.
So that's where
that's totally fine, and I recognize I totally get all those reasons too as well, because like I have a little bit of the same feelings too. I'd say a couple things to start out with this game. So I think this property in general has an unfortunate amount of reach, because realistically, when you look at the Borderlands games and everything that's been out there in the last several years, there's really only been like 2 Borderlands games, which you would think like, okay, so why Borderlands? Like, why does Borderlands get the Telltale treatment that other properties didn't get? Because we've had Batman, and we've had Game of Thrones, and we've had Back to the Future, and we've had, you know, tons of stuff. And I think one of the harder things about this series is that it's just really hard to want to get invested in it. If one, you've never played any of those games before, and two, if like it's another long narrative game that you have to spend time with, and you have to grow with these characters as you go. The same stuff with Telltale is here, and the choices that you make in terms of this game, all of them kind of come back to you as you go. But I would say that the hardest thing about getting involved in this in general is that. I mean, I played the first Borderlands. I played a little bit of it, and I never fully beat it, but I did really enjoy that game. It was a great shooter. It's like an RPG kind of shooter. It reminded me of the early days of Destiny, before Destiny came out, where, you know, you're shooting a bad guy from across the way and you're getting basically points and you know, like experience points essentially. So there's some cool aspects to that. But I think the harder part about it in general is just that no people really know a lot about the Borderlands universe.
Right.
That being said, this game doesn't really focus on that many characters from those past games. Like it touches on that, and touches on like who they are and how they might have been involved with other characters in the first-person shooter world. But this is its own entity. It does keep it separate, and it's got its own characters that it's building. What I have noticed about it is that it carries one really great thing through from the Borderlands universe, and that is comedy. So, legitimately, if you're looking for a Telltale game that is funny to play, that, you know, there's a lot of little quick quips is what I would say in this game for the most part. And so I really enjoyed it in that aspect. It's very polished. You can clearly see from looking at the YouTube video here too as well that the same sort of artsy hand-drawn look of things is still there.
Yep.
And I think like this is one of those things that I may ultimately, like, if I finish all like 5 chapters, because usually there's about 5 chapters in all these games. When I finish those, I'll probably have a larger review of this game, because it is one of those things that, again, this is great that Sony is giving us something of this extent that has probably not been played by a lot of people really when it comes down to it, and it's a full game, so you get really a great Telltale experience. So far, as we've gone, there's 2 characters in this game. I've played a little bit of the first chapter as the first guy character, and he's kind of, again, the standard sort of rogue character. And I will say, and now I'm on to this girl basically that's playing here too. But wow, those guys are violently stabbing that guy. So, but you know, I will say that a really cool part about this too is that I feel like this has very, very good voice acting in general. Just you know, the characters can emote a lot without you even necessarily looking at their face a lot of the times too as well. So I think, yeah, Tales from Borderland, to me, it's kind of like I'm sort of in between with it, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna say give it a shot because of the basis that this game really has all of that prestige that comes from Telltale in general. And I think you would say the same thing, even if you had the time to play it and everything there too. It's just a matter of, like, you gotta have a lot of time to want to sit down and play a Telltale game, because you want to make sure you're making all these choices correctly and everything.
Right. I agree. Yeah, if you've never played Telltale before, absolutely give this a shot, because it'll give you an idea of what this company is all about. You know, if you have listened to us when we reviewed the Batman Telltale game,
yeah.
I mean, that was absolutely stellar and fantastic. Had a nice blend. You know, obviously that was more serious and whatnot. I think that's great to have a game like that, but now it's, you know, a little more lighthearted, because most of those Telltale games are deadly serious.
Yeah.
Like, just really, you know, cut and dry, you know, life and death kind of things. But, you know, the exception, obviously, Back to the Future, and then this, you know, supposedly. So, yeah, I would absolutely give this a shot. You know, no matter what type of universe it's in, if you've never experienced the Telltale game, oh, definitely try it out. They are a lot of fun, but it does take time. Each chapter probably would take a couple of hours, and there's usually 5, so you're looking at about probably 10 hours into these different Telltale games.
Yeah, and you're going to take that time over the course of possibly several days or weeks and stuff like that.
Right. I like to stretch it out. I don't like to get it all done in one sitting. I really like to stretch out. That's why I like with when Walking Dead was coming out and with the Batman one, I really enjoyed picking up the episodes as they came out, because that spread that out over a few months. And it's, sometimes a little bit longer.
Well, think about what we talk about with the fact that we have now instant access to everything. The House of Cards just came out, and I felt almost compelled last night to just binge watch everything, but I managed to only get through 3 episodes before it was way too late.
And that's why people that binge and they finish a season in a day, and then I'm sorry, but they have no right to bitch and moan about waiting now I gotta wait a whole another year before the next season comes out.
Exactly.
Oh my god. And my wife gets, she's not a binge watcher per se, but she's the one that'll probably knock out 3 episodes, or 4. I can't do that. I'm like 2 max.
Yeah.
And I want it to stretch because I want that experience to last. I don't want to get done with it in a day or 2 and then sit and then you forget about everything that happened by the time the next season comes out. So that's what I love about these kind of games and then not only that, they do the awesome recap.
Yeah.
Of the next, of what you did on the previous episode. So even when you play one episode and then a month goes by, here comes episode 2, and maybe you forgot, what happened? Here's your little recap, and then boom, you're off to the races again. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, and I like that because again, it builds that narrative of all these characters. It builds a closeness with each character as you're making these choices, because even though we're seeing it right now, right, and we're saying it's more lighthearted and everything, I guarantee you at some point in this story I'm gonna have to make some sort of terrible, difficult decision that I don't want to necessarily make, because Telltale always, that's their hallmark of everything. They put you right in a place where it's you got to choose between this character you just met and this character that's been helping you, or there's all these little things that they do in the story that, really nobody else is doing. So, if you want strong narrative games, if you want the ability to kind of pick up and play it as you go, as you were talking about, you want to play a season, move on. I think in general, that's the great part about what games are offering to us now. If this game was, if this was way on my radar when it came out, I would have been happy to do just like what you said there. Play a little bit a season, wait, next week another one's going to come out, and they're going to continue going with that. I certainly enjoyed that with the Batman games there too. So, but yeah, so I would say give it a shot with this game. We obviously, this is kind of more of a premature review on both of our parts here too, but I think like we said, everything that goes with the history with Telltale, you're going to enjoy this game. So yeah, definitely give it a shot.
All right, I agree.
Well, cool. So I think we'll save some of the terrible reveals of destroying this story for other people, because now we've just seen somebody get shot in the head.
So
I don't know if that guy was important. He could have been important.
Yeah. Could have been. You don't know if this guy's important. Something's going to happen there. Who knows? Who knows? Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alerts, folks. Yeah, we might reveal a little bit in our video, but so I guess we'll leave it with this. Do we have any? I mean, we've been kind of back and forth on some of the different reviews of classic wrestling that we've been doing here too as well.
Yes.
And next month, after June, we're gonna have New Japan Pro Wrestling's first U.S. pay-per-view, which I'm sure you and I are going to watch at some point too.
Yeah, it's a weekend long. Their debut in America, the first day on a Saturday, will be broadcast on the Access TV, I think they call it. So we will be able to see that. The next day, it's only going to be available on the New Japan streaming network.
Gotcha.
Their version of WWE Network. So it still remains to be seen if I'll have that set up or not yet. Still trying to work out the semantics. For that, with credit cards and all that good stuff. So yeah, we hope to see that. We've really enjoyed the classic reviews. So I think we're definitely going to do. some more. We did the first Raw, the first Nitro, so I think we'll look at some different pay-per-views and different companies. You know, it's not necessarily just, you know, WCW and WWF or E or whatever. So we'll absolutely check out the other players in the wrestling genre.
Yes, indeed, sir.
Yeah, and then we're I have purchased Injustice 2, so you'll probably see some gameplay footage going up from time to time with that.
It's nice when you find
Yeah, and then before we know it, we'll be doing PlayStation Plus again for June.
Yes, which I heard some interesting games. I know one of them, but I can't recall the title. I've seen about it for a while now.
I didn't see what they were yet.
But basically, yeah, like, you know, the same thing with the, you know, the PlayStation in general. We've always expected a, you know, different variety of things that are coming out for your PlayStation Plus membership. So again, like, if you are not really doing that and just adding it to your library, again, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. So but yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna have a little bit more of some more Nintendo stuff come up here too. Got the Switch, and I've been playing a lot of that. And in general, I think the next purchase for me, we played a little bit on last Saturday, is that ARMS game, which is kind of like this Rock'em Sock'em style fighting game. But yeah, there's gonna be some more games, a couple more reviews coming up here soon on gamesandgimmicks.com. So I think that just about wraps everything up there, Eric.
I think it does. That's awesome. A beautiful place to sail off into the sunset.
So again, folks, thanks for listening to our podcast. Check out our live streaming of the video on YouTube, and we also got stuff on Twitter, and we're on Instagram as well too. So feel free to check us out. Again, that's gamesandgimmicks.com, and thank you very much for watching.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
Alrighty.